Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I want to talk to you guys about type affinity. The type affinity is referred to combat, blast, speed, and universal, and I wanted to talk to you about them because I've made videos in the past about the speed class and why it's so unbalanced and worse off compared to the other three classes, and partially because on top of changes that I am going to suggest that Netmarble take, I do think now with the upcoming patch, it's the perfect time if Netmarble is ever going to rebalance these four types with the incoming X-Men. Now, whether the X-Men are going to be in one of these four affinities or they're going to be a brand new fifth affinity to kind of balance out with the universals is yet to be seen, but I think with a patch of this magnitude with these many new characters, it would be justifiable for Netmarble to make changes to existing types and kind of shift around the base stats to more closely align everyone on a fair and even playing field. So first off, I want to discuss what I think the default values should be, at least in terms of high, medium, and low, for each of the four main stat categories for these different types. Now, of course, the combat type is always been associated with tankiness, high HP, high defense, and that is understandable with the likes of Hulk, Captain America, and others. This is the class to take a punch. However, with high HP and defense has to come a downside. So on top of having a mid-level attack, I think that this type in general should have a low attack speed, movement speed, and dodge value. As far as extra effects go, like ignore defense, ignore dodge, stuff like that, basically every class is medium tier except for the blast class. Speaking of the blast class, they're kind of the opposite of the combat class in the sense that they are glass cannons. They deal high damage, but they have very low HP and defense. Their survivability takes a hit because they dish out a lot of damage. To counterbalance that, their attack speed, movement speed, and dodge is just kind of mid-level. The speed class right now does not constitute the following description, but I do think that the speed class should have medium level attack, defense, and HP, kind of, you know, middle of the ground, middle of the way, and then high or very top tier attack speed, movement speed, and dodge to compensate for just mid-level in the other categories, and then again mid-level on the extras. Right now they have the lowest HP and defense and attack, so it just doesn't really balance out. Finally, we have the universal class, which are kind of strong in every category, and I think that should remain. I think they should be kind of mid-level in all four different stats, maybe with just a little bit higher attack than the combat and speed types to differentiate them a little bit from those other classes. Now, on top of the type affinity stat lines, we also have play style that comes into account, because there's always speculation when a new character is announced as to what type they're going to be in based on how they play. Do they play from far away? Are they a ranged character? Do they go in close and attack you melee style with a bunch of hits? How does their play style affect the typing? Well, here's how I see it. The combat type is melee focused, like with guys like, again, Captain America, Venom, Kingpin, Hulk, Red Hulk, Hulkbuster, Jessica Jones. They're going to go in and they're brawlers. They're just going to punch you. They're also going to use, you know, weapons, guns, and their body to fight you. Similarly, I think as far as playstyle go, the combat and speed classes are quite closely aligned. However, I would say that the speed class likes to do the same thing, but from a little bit further away. They still like to be focused on using their body, weapons, or guns to deal damage, but they're a bit more of a ranged class. People like Black Widow, Winter Soldier, Spider-Man, Green Goblin, Hawkeye. They like to kind of stay at that mid to long range when they're attacking you, but they're still physically based, kind of human, meta-human based weapons of damage. Blast, on the other hand, starts to get into the a little bit more arcane, magical, cosmic side of things. So I think that Blast is more closely associated with Universal. They're less human-oriented. The Blast type, I think, in general, on average, likes to be a ranged class, likes to attack from range, and they used energy, tech, and arcane. Arcane being synonymous with Doctor Strange and those characters from that update. Tech being guys like Vision, Yellow Jacket, Iron Man, War Machine, Star-Lord, and then energy being people like Whiplash, Sister Grimm, Baron Mordo, Songbird, etc. The last one is universals, and these are the strongest partially because of their playstyle. These are the cosmic kind of alien otherworldly energy types, and for that fact, because Marvel has a lot of their most powerful villains and characters outside of Earth kind of coming in with the likes of Thanos, Dormammu, Odin, etc., they tend to be the strongest because of where their playstyle comes from. But that's basically how it works. They do have a mix of both melee and range, so it's hard to pin them down. But given the playstyles and given how the base stats should be aligned, not how they currently are, but how they should be, we do have some characters that don't fit the mold of the class that they're currently in. And this is kind of the radical part of the video that I think some people aren't going to like, but just keep in mind these are my opinions. This is not you know, anything that's going to happen per se. I don't work for Netmarble, so these are just my thoughts that I've gathered by playing the game and by seeing, you know, how different characters in different classes play so similarly that it begs the question, well, why are they in different classes? Yes, there's always the argument of diversity, and don't get me wrong, I love the fact that someone like Iron Fist is a combat character who deals energy damage. I think that exceptions to the rule are fantastic. However, I do think that there are too many exceptions in more than one class, in more than one type, and there could be some shifts that are justifiable, and it could come with reworks to certain characters who desperately need attention. So let's have a look at who we're going to move out of each class and where we're going to move them. So I think that Blade, Punisher, Bullseye, and Deathlock, I know he has a uniform, but those four characters really don't fit the mold of your standard combat character. Bullseye, Punisher, they like to attack from range. They like to shoot you and throw things at you from far away. So those four characters should probably be moved to the speed class, but we don't want to upset the balance in terms of the total number of heroes in each category, so we have to move some of the speed characters around as well. In the speed class, I think there are some tanky guys who just end up being not tanky and end up being flimsy, not because they are in the comics or in the lore, but because the speed class is terrible and has low HP and low defense. Guys like Daredevil, similarly Elektra, additionally Karnak, lastly Gamora. This one makes the least sense to me. Gamora is a speed character. She's the most dangerous woman in the world. Her sister, not the most dangerous woman in the world, is combat. I understand there's a whole yin and yang between the two because they're sisters and Gamora's green, so she's speed. But seriously, Gamora should be a combat character. She's just as much in your face as Nebula is. Daredevil is just like Shang-Chi or Moon Knight or Black Panther or Drax. There's no difference in their playstyle. They get right in there and they start punching and kicking you. Thanks for the credits. Same thing with Elektra, and definitely same thing with Karnak. Those four speed characters absolutely deserve to be combat types. And it fits because people say Karnak's a great character, he just lacks the survivability. If he were a combat type, he would have much higher physical and energy defense. He'd have much higher HP. He might be an excellent character were those changes to take place. As far as the Blast class goes, I think it's most closely aligned with the Universal class, and there are some characters who I think could make the jump over from Blast to Universal given the way that the character plays out and given the fact that they have a lot of kind of cosmic effects and they draw on powers from Infinity Stones or from things that are otherworldly. Namely Wiccan, Malekith, and Mantis. Now Mantis, when she came out, was immediately questioned for being Blast. There was no need to bring any more good Blast characters into the game, and her typing and her movements, you know, and her skill rotation really just doesn't fit with the Blast type. So I think it would be fair and it would bring some revitalization to the speed class if Mantis was retyped as a speed character. Malekith and Wiccan, on the other hand, could very easily be universal types. Wiccan especially, since his mother is Scarlet Witch. Lastly, we come to the Universal class. Now, almost everyone in the Universal class is kind of an alien. They're from another world. They have some kind of spirit inhabiting their body, except for Clea and Ultron. They really stick out like sore thumbs. Clea really perplexes me because everyone else in the Doctor Strange update is a Blast character or a speed character. It really confuses me why. I understand the Dark Dimension, I know, but still, she's human. She should be a Blast character, let's be honest. Ultron, on the other hand, I understand. When the game first came out, Ultron was the main villain, and the universal type was very scarce, and he was kind of seen as the trump card to the blast, combat, and speed types of the Avengers. And I understand why they kind of created that kind of counterplay between the two. But now looking at him, is Ultron really a universal type? No, he's definitely not. He has the tin can aspect to be a blast character. He's much more closely aligned to the likes of Vision and Iron Man, who are extremely closely tied to him in his history. I mean, Ultron's backstory is basically Vision on one side and Iron Man on the other, and he's sandwiched in the middle. So Ultron should absolutely be moved to the blast type along with Clea. And with those changes, guys, you basically have the exact same layout as you did before, except the blast class loses one character and the speed class gains one character. I don't think that these balance changes would mean much because we have 30 right now and 28, so it would be 35, 29, 29, and 26. So we would kind of maintain the same balance that we had before. We would strengthen the speed class. We would more closely align each of the 4 affinities with their base kind of play style and lore and history and where their powers come from. And we would better position ourselves for this upcoming X-Men update. There's a lot of talk about where certain characters are going to land. I really want the speed class to get some kind of buff overall in the rare event that we get an OP speed character like Wolverine. I don't want his base stats to suffer because of this class, so I really hope that Netmarble listens and gives the speed class something, anything, just a small bump, please. We need it. Give it to us. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think of these ideas. Let me know what you think of my kind of insane theories and radical ideas about how to change the affinities and how to bring balance back to the Force. And of course, guys, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow and on the Twitch live streams. Take care.